So we're on the bottom line on page Samazai. In the middle of the line, a little further with the start on point, the lulei kain, if not sell, if it were not sell. And what is the sell? The sell refers to the principle that in the nefesh itself, when it has essentially the oir hasechel. And we explained what is oir sechel. Oir sechel means this is how this sechel emanates directly from the divine source, or from the nefesh reality. It is not something that's being discovered to any kind of a research, any kind of a contrast. We discussed yesterday a little bit. Oir seichel means how seichel is presenting a truth. Not true, but a truth. It's called oir seichel. It emanates directly from the source. Like the Rambam says, the first principle is to know that there is a first being who brings everything forth. Now this knowledge that there is a first being and he brings everything forth, this is not a knowledge that you find out by investigation. This is a knowledge that is inherent in the living seichel. Because in fact you have no comprehension what this first being is. Except that in the living seichel there is this inherent knowledge, there's recognition that there is a first being who brings everything forth. We expressed many times, and I'd like that we should perhaps sense this, the principle that the first being brings everything forth. Since he is a first being, a first being means that he is first, meaning he doesn't need a basis for his being. He does not need any kind of substantiation. He's the first. The reality itself. This knowledge of the first being is the first awareness of seichel. This awareness in seichel is not as a result of a process. Meaning to say, first I ask a question, where does everything come from? And I answer, there is a first being. This process of the question, where does everything come from? And then you have an answer, you always remain primarily in the question reality. You have an answer, but the reality is that which created the question. The principle of knowing, this is the foundation of all reality, that there is a first being, this is the seichel that connects you to the first being itself. You don't have a question where everything has come from. Because you are into the awareness of the first being. The first being is a primary reality. Not the world is a primary reality, then you ask a question where it comes from. The first being is the first being, is the primary reality. That's the yesod of Chochmah. Chochmah is not bina, is not a process. This is Amud HaChochmis. Chochmah sees the inyan in the way they are. Let me put it in more sechel-dike terms. When you hear something, you hear a sound, which is like the bina level. You turn, where's the sound coming from? Who creates it? And what's the reason for its sound, for its being there? When you see daylight, when you see things because you see them, you don't ask the question, where is it coming from? Because the sight connects it directly to its reality. So we do not have the contrast. I don't see it, and now I see it. You only see it. There isn't the basic worldly status that there isn't. This is Chochmah. When we see, we do not ask, how come I see? I see because it's reality. And it's not a process. This whole idiotic thing that because the light deflects from the object is completely false. That's not the experience of sight. In hearing, yes, but not in sight.
Chochmah is not a process, it's a direct acknowledgement.
It's direct connect to the source itself.
And that we associate work with Chochmah only to the extent of removing obstacles, or
So again, work.
we associate labor or work with avodah, regarding Chochmah, but only to the extent of removing obstacles.
That's right, getting to what you actually see.
Okay.
But the reality itself, that is what Chochmah is. That's what Rambam says. What is the foundation of Chochmah? Not that I see, but there's a motivation, the first being. A first being is not something that you discover from within a worldly process. Right? First being. If the first being were a sechel discovery, then the sechel would say, really a first being? Where does first being come from? That awareness is not a sechelic awareness. That's mitzad the living nefesh. You know that's the first being. Chochmah simply connects you to that reality. And this first being becomes the foundation of your whole orientation. What is the structure of life? Why is there value in life? Because life is a gift from the first being. And Mitchell the Rebbe says that in the nefesh itself, bottom line, the nefesh itself that relates, that has the first being impact itself in it, it is also b'bchinas sechel chochmah davka. There's an awareness in the nefesh itself of the first being. But this awareness is, like you said, it's not a discovery process, but it's an awareness. And the Rambam says, that this first being is a mitzvah to recognize it, to serve it, to fear it, to recognize its greatness, and to relate to it with respect and so forth. If this were not a presence in the nefesh, if the nefesh did not have this element, the sechel element in this knowledge, then lehoyo came the less lehoyo bobi islapchus klal b'chemer hameich. Then this knowledge could not settle in the chemer hameich.
If not for what?
If not the sechel being in the nefesh, then this knowledge could not settle in the chemer hameich, in the material of the meich. Meich is a material thing. It's a very sensitive material, very fine material. But nonetheless, it's a material. It's a gashmistic presence. It has to be sensitive, but to what? Something that is in proximity to itself. It cannot be sensitive to something that is completely out of proximity of its own being.
Cannot unite with something completely foreign to its own being.
Right. Think of the words that we're quoting from the Rambam. A first being. A first being does not make any sense in sechel. Sechel means first being. Where does it come from? This is a super sechel. It's a nefesh type of sechel. And this nefesh type of sechel settles in the human brain, so that the brain can relate to it. What is the brain relate to it? This is a sechel structure, a first being.
Well, I mean, two things. It seems like the brain doesn't fully relate to it; it senses it. Would that be accurate?
Yes, this is what we said, Chochmah. Chochmah is not a grasp. Chochmah is an awareness, a recognition. But this recognition is so enticing and so inspiring that you're drawn to it.
Okay. And the second point is that somehow this relates to the chumrius, the chomer of the moyach.
This is known in the chemer hameich.
And yet it is out of its geder. It's not first, second, third. It's completely different to worldly thinking and what this.
But it is within some kind of a structure. Otherwise, the moyach could not.
What does that mean? Within some kind of structure? Because why?
When you say first being, everything, there is a first being that brings everything forth. That's a structure.
Well, because we can relate to something having origination. Because there's an origin, and then there's stuff. That's the structure, basically.
Yeah. Formulate the way you want it. It's your sechel.
Okay. And yesterday we said.
But this sechel is present in our brain and is able to settle in our brain, and we can feel comfortable in our brain, because in the nefesh it is also a sechel awareness.
As opposed to being pure light.
As opposed to being pure light.
Okay.
Like we said yesterday, it is Brim Shebiyam Boshet, not Brim Shebiyam.
Right. Yesterday, when we were discussing the meeting of life itself, life with chumrius, with material, and they seem so contradictory, and then it was pointed out they both are from a Motzi Rishon, they're both coming from, so that put them within the same kind of domain. But more than that, can we say anything about how life itself is seemingly settling in, like we just said, the chomer of moyach, the physical brain? Is there anything more a person could say or think about that?
Remember, we had this simple analogy of don't cross the street against the light because it is a threat against your life. If it's a threat against your life, that is already a recognition that life is something that is not primary being in your body. You can damage your body to put but you would lose the life.
Right. So I mean that's a case of where from within a physical world there's a sensing of life beyond body. But it doesn't.
But besides the fact that life itself is beyond body, it finds comfort in the body.
Right, and
it settles in.
Yeah. How, why that happens, we can't really say.
Yeah, we cannot grasp at what we're saying. That it is due to the fact that the nefesh also has a structural awareness.
So
there's a first being
also
who brings all life.
Structural awareness. So this puts them in proximity. This gives them our
That's it.
Okay.
So that the similar process as it is in the body, the similar process is in nefesh, but in completely different level.
Well, what if you emphasize, because it's a super quality, this Chochmah, that it's able to engage the material body, the brain?
It's able to engage the material brain, but not that the brain should understand it. It's able to engage the material body, but that it should settle in the brain to the main point that it's understood in the brain. How?
No, that's what. No, maybe you heard my question and I'm not understanding your answer. I'm saying, could it be due to its extraordinary ability that's why it can deal with Chumrius?
It can deal with Chumrius, no problem, but the Chumrius cannot deal with it. How does it come to be understood in the Chumri environment?
So the emphasis there is more of the quality of the Chumrius.
Yeah. Yislapshus b'chemer hamayach.
It's equally due to both of them, not to one.
The Yislapshus element, there has to be some kind of proximity, some kind of a similarity between that which is mislavish and where it's mislavish.
Correct. That shows that both of them are participating in this. Both are participating in this joining.
I don't see what.
They're both playing together, but my question was, how would physicality deal with life? The fact that life can look at physicality or relate to it, okay, it has intelligence, it can look, see, but that brain can absorb, can be a receptacle to life.
Okay, that's the point that we're at this moment in my talking to you.
No.
Is that this Chumrius has an ability as well.
That's the wonder.
Grab the table.
I prefer you to deal with what I said.
I'm trying to, but you refuse to think. There's nothing to grasp there.
The Chumrius has nothing to grasp.
No, the Ruchnius is nothing to be grasped.
The Ruchnius is not graspable.
Yeah, there's nothing to grasp.
But that being said, it has some structure, it has some inyan that it's still, the fact that they stay together, that has to do with kavanah, I think we learned elsewhere, right? Because there's the intent.
Yeah, that's
That
a super imposition.
Yes.
Superpower.
Which kind of,
But the fact that one understands the other, there has to be some kind of proximity to each other. To it. Some kind of similarity. This is what the Rebbe says. In the nefesh there is a yin from seichel. And this is why Chochmah HaMelech can understand seichel or nefesh.
the reason that the material of the mind can relate to seichel, we're saying, is because seichel also has structure, has.
No, that's not the question. The question is how does nefesh, seichel ha-nefesh, mislabish in the material of the mind?
Yeah.
The answer is, and the nefesh also is a seichel. If nefesh was just a superior reality
Why is
truth,
that, right, I'm saying, why is that an answer? Nefesh also is a seichel. Why is that the answer to how?
so therefore there is a similar language.
Yeah. And the fact that the Chochmah or the Moyach can relate to this language is also kind of pretty wonderful.
Yes, but it's still a language.
It's still language. Okay. Yeah.
And the important thing is that it is bihislapshus b'Chochmah HaMelech. Chochmah HaMelech really relates to it, not that it's there as a foreign presence.
This that really relates to it again. It's sort of pretty wondrous because it's a language that it's not its first language. The fact that there is language.
That's right. Language can be learned. That's why the Melech has to be trained, and it takes time. But there is a means to approach it.
There's a means, yeah. But seemingly they do speak different languages.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, let's go to the next page. And then the hasoga in the Moyach would not be of a type of Hasoga Gashmis. It would not be Hasoga Gashmis. B'chinas Hasoga Gashmis. In the realm of Hasoga Gashmis. Like you understand it as a almost as real as you understand Gashmis. Because in the nefesh also, it is also b'chinas seichel. You're talking the same language. Yes, it's a higher, but it's the same language.
But what is that to exclude? Below Rishinis Hasoga Gashmis.
It would not be Hasoga Gashmis if the seichel were not also present in the nefesh. Then the nislaf in the nefesh in the Moyach would not be b'chinas Hasoga Gashmis. But the Moyach fully understands there's a nefesh in me.
And this is what has occurred. correct?
If we say, in the words of the Rambam, that the first beginning of all wisdom is to know that there is a first being. This is truly a full-fledged comprehension. And that everything that exists is being made by this first being. That's a phenomenal understanding. This is a sechel. You are right in this physical world, and you say, hey, wait a second. There's a being that makes this first being, physical being. In your sechel, it finds place in your sechel.
The sechel of the moach.
Yeah.
That's a hasaga gashmis.
Right. The beginning is also gashmis. Okay, our time is up for this morning. So tomorrow we'll start the other phase of it.
Bechinas hasaga gashmis means it's the bechina here is that it's not actually, or it is actually. What is the emphasis of the bechina?
Of the quality. Of course, it's not gashmis, but it's a hasaga as keen as gashmis itself.
As what?
As gashmis itself.
As keen as?
As clear as gashmis itself. In the Chochmah HaMe'ah. All right, whoever is on the line, I think that somebody's on the line because he never complained there was nobody on.
So I understand you're going to show up tomorrow, even after all of this.
I'm sorry?
I understand you're going to show up tomorrow, even after all of this.
What are you talking about?
I mean, how difficult it was. To reach the Chochmah HaMe'ah. Oh, that's the Chochmah HaMe'ah?